Good morning. So it is 5 something here in Costa Rica. So 7 back in New York. And sun's starting to come up. It's beautiful. I did forget my earbuds. So hopefully the sound comes through okay. But we'll find out in a little while. So this is all about giving yourself a fresh start, right? So like the waves of the ocean, kind of come up and clean everything. So like a fresh start could be not dragging your old self into the moment with your new self. So every wave is different. You in this now could be different than you in the now 3 seconds ago. You have every right to be different than you from 20 minutes ago. So you have the opportunity to just have a fresh, clean slate and to start just kind of over again. I know I do that quite a bit with sometimes with my language. So if I catch myself saying something that, maybe could be phrased a little different or left open for a little bit more room, then I'll catch myself, hopefully right in that moment, and rephrase. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is while you're in the middle of a conversation too. I've done this and I'm like, you know what? That didn't land the way that I wanted it to, or maybe it came off a little different than my intentions. So let's start over, right? Like it might have sounded like I meant it with maybe some attitude, but I really didn't. It just happened to be the way that it came out of my mouth. So, kind of starting over, starting fresh, and not necessarily dragging the old with the new. Like the big thing for me is labels. So as I move around the planet, I give myself a label, but I also give other people a label, and then I expect them to act based off this label that I already gave them. So what if I just gave everybody a brand new fresh start every moment there was a new interaction, right? Like, what if I didn't have to keep the labels I gave myself? What if I didn't have to keep the labels I gave other people? What if every moment just started fresh and new and was something different? Right? So, maybe I give myself the label of somebody who walks on the beach at 5 o'clock in the morning and watches the sunrise. This seems like an okay label. But there can be labels that might not be so wonderful. Labels of I'm always right, I'm mostly right, versus who the hell cares if I'm right or not? It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. The other person wants to think they're right, so be it. Whatever. It's not worth it. So just kind of letting go of that. And then with the story, just making new waves, making new situations, trying to get over a current story that you have sitting in your mind. So in order to get over a story, literally it has to be beneath you. So you're walking over it. But most people are still in their story. So they're looking up at their story. They're literally in the story. You can't be in the story and over the story. So you could give yourself a fresh beginning. Just like every wave comes in and out. And just kind of see where it goes. Right? It doesn't have to be a specific way. You don't necessarily have to tell the universe how it's all going to play out. Most people do. So, lots of rooms and opportunities for fresh stories, fresh labels. I'm going to turn around so you can see what's behind there. So, giving yourself the opportunity for a new you to show up in this moment, giving the other people in your life the opportunity to show up in this moment anew. It's like a wave. It kind of resets everything. You could just show up different. You could show up without expectations, without having to be right, without the other person having to be wrong. And just kind of see where things go. So fresh. Drop the labels. Drop the stories. Things could be a lot different. Okay. So what if you dropped all the labels you had about yourself? How a certain type of person you are. What if you could drop the stories about the person that you're currently butting heads with? You know? What if you're able to drop the ego and just, alright, fine. We're just going to allow this. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight myself. Ugh. And we're just going to allow. So giving yourself some room for allowance. Giving yourself room for grace. Just kind of seeing what happens. So moving about your day. Dropping the story. You can't analyze the story and be in the story. You just have to drop the story. Does it really matter? Probably not. Will this be a big deal a year from now? Probably not. Will you even remember this in 3 days? Probably not. So, you can be in your story, or you can get over your story. But you can't have both, right? So, what's expansive and what's contractive? So, being out of the story sounds pretty expansive, creating a new story, going with the flow. Those are expansive. Contractive would be telling the universe how to operate, telling other people how to operate, telling other people what to do, right? And those are all pretty contractive. So, ways to be in the world without the labels. Without the stories. And just kind of be. And enjoy people for their differences versus how much they rub you the wrong way. Those are all different. So that's different. Different way of being. Just kind of going with the flow. Going with the surf. Going with the ocean. So what if you could walk around today without labels? And what if you could walk around today without labeling other people? What would that look like for you? What would it look like to not have labels on for other people? Right? So this is probably going to be more for people that you have interactions with often. Because those are the people you already have the labels on. So, people who live in your house, the people you work with, those are all the people that you have the same interactions with. Those are probably the people that have the labels, right? So what if you change your interaction with them? That's different. What if you even got a little crazier and gave them a whole opposite label? So my label today is you're the nicest person I've ever met. And see what happens. That could be different. Could be a lot different. So, be like the ocean. Hola. Yeah, try something different. Definitely try something different. What you're doing right now, you could just have the same of, or you could just try something different for the day. So I challenge you to try something different for today. So today, drop your labels. Today, drop the labels of others. Just make a fresh start. Total fresh start. Just like the waves. Right? Give the day some room to kind of play out how it wants to play out versus how you want it to play out. That's different. Just giving everything a fresh start. Room to do what it needs. Not fight time. Not fight people. Not fight labels. Not fight stories. So it just kind of keeps coming back to allowance. Like not fighting things, but just allowing things to play out. You might want it done a certain way, which I mean we all kind of do, right? But you're not in charge of the universe. In case you didn't get the memo, you're not in charge of the universe. It's going to play out how it plays out. You just want to give it some room, set an intention. So today our intention is to not have the labels, not have the stories, both for ourselves and others. Just kind of see what happens. Give the universe lots of room to drop something different in, something new, something exciting. You don't have to know exactly how everything works out. It's not your job. Your job is to show up, to be ready. Not have to fight for your rightness. Justify yourself. Justify your story. Justify why you did what you did or think how you did. Instead, you could just be in the moment, clear the story, clear the labels, clear the expectations, and just make room for the universe to do what the universe is going to do. So, maybe it puts you on the ocean today. Right? Maybe it gives you a day you'll never forget. What if it gives you an interaction with somebody that's different than normal? Right? What if you show up differently and that other person shows up differently? What if you stop telling the universe what to do? What if you just show up as whole you, not having to fight, just allowing and letting things to flow through, right? That's different. That's different than fighting with the clock, fighting with a schedule, fighting with your inbox, you know. So, getting things done that need to get done, obviously, but not putting the label on it of this is going to be hard. This is going to take hours. This person's hard to interact with. You know, I need to prepare myself. I need to squish and contract and be ready for a fight. Versus I show up as wholly me. They show up however they please. And it's going to get done in the amount of time it gets done. Right? I know when I feel like under the gun, pushed up against my schedule, trying to get things done super quick. That's when it backfires sometimes for me. So in those times, I just, okay, well, we got a lot of stuff to get done here. And we're just gonna do it as efficiently and effectively as possible. And I'm only one person, so if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. We're just gonna do the best we can. Not beat ourselves up, right? I know when I get frustrated, I like to beat myself up. I like to blame other people. I like to fight with the universe. So, what could be different? Could show up different. Could not put a judgment on what you're looking to do. You could just kind of let things flow through. Let people be people. Not get involved in the story. Not get involved in the label. Just make a lot of room for allowance. But with that, it's going to be awareness. Catching the thought. Catching yourself having the thought. That can be a challenging one. You can be in the thought for like 20 minutes of why somebody like ruined it. And they're like, oh yeah, wait a minute. Shoot. Awareness. Okay. That's not it. You know, this other person didn't do anything to me. I'm not a victim to this other person. Oh, okay, reboot. My reboot is, I'm here and we make it work. That's our reboot. So, just working on getting over the story, not being in the story. Removing the labels from the interactions, the people, how hard the task might be. Just letting go of that resistance and dropping into the universe. The universe is just gonna click itself in. If you've got the centered awareness internally, the universe might try to help you out a little bit too. And the universe might even try to help you out a little bit more if you knew exactly what you wanted. Because the cool thing about the universe is brings you things, right? Shows up. Like a beach, Costa Rica. So the universe shows up. Magical ways. You just gotta tell it how to show up. And you gotta drop all the garbage. So today, no labels. No labels on how hard things are. No labels on yourself. No labels. Let's get a panoramic. This is gorgeous. This is Playa del Coco. So just giving the universe room to do what it needs to do so you can do what you want to do. Just being like the ocean and resetting. Awareness is resetting. Resetting labels and expectations. Labels on yourself. Right? Not good enough. Oh, why does this person always do this to me? I'm a victim. How come nobody can do this right? All that good stuff. What if we just dropped it all? Started fresh, just like the ocean waves. Just kind of wash the slate clean. So today we wash the slate clean. We drop our expectations. And see what the universe drops in. Maybe somebody interacts with you different. Maybe you send your emails different. Maybe you show up for your family different. Maybe you don't fight with reality. Things are the way they are. You can be in the story or over the story, but you can't have both. So you can be frustrated and mad and angry about why blah 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 happened, or you can get over the story and just move on. Right? Your ego doesn't need to be right. It wants to be right. It doesn't need to be right. Who cares? The other person wants to think they're right, so be it. That's their prerogative. We have different things going on. It doesn't matter. You can want to be right all you want. We're not going to fight it. We're not going to fight our schedule. We're not going to fight with time. We're not going to fight with people. We're not going to fight with ourselves. We're not going to fight with the labels. I think fighting with ourselves, though, is a big one. Just having that centered awareness of mental death spiral. You know, those are fun for me. Right. Oh, this happened. That means this, and this are surely going to happen. And then going through all the worst cases. So then I try to implement the if it went 10 times better than I expected strategy to my mental death spiral. But, you know, getting over the story, literally just walking over it. Just walking over the story. Just taking a big giant step forward, walking over the story. You don't need to be in the story. You don't need to analyze the story. We don't need to figure out the story. We just get over the story. We just take our foot and walk over the story. We don't pick it up. We don't want to do any of that. Just want to drop the labels, drop the judgment. People might not love that. They'll get over it. They might not like you playing differently. They can get over it. Or you can just have peace, calm, let the universe bring what it may. You could be in harmony with yourself. You could be in coherence. You could wipe the slate clean. Every moment have a fresh start. Just like the ocean. Those are things that are possible. Life definitely feels different when that happens. Feels a lot different when that happens. And things will come up. You know, right now I'm thinking of like, oh man, my to-do list, right? But when I'm going, oh man, my to-do list, like, that's me putting a label on it. Like, you know, I could try to change that story up a little bit. Yeah, there's things that you just have to do because you're a human. Oh, look, I'm a human. I have to do a few things today. Oh, that's okay. You know, better than not being alive. So, we're okay with this. You know, maybe there's a way to make it fun. Maybe there's a way to make it go by quicker. Or maybe you just kind of put some tunes on and crank out some stuff that needs to get done. But either way, just like the way that I'm like, ugh, my to-do list is me putting a label on the ugh, right? The ugh. That's the label. So what if I could drop the label and just get my to-do list to done list? Ta-da! To done. Right? What if we change our labels? What if we change how hard something's gonna be? What if we leave room? What if we wash the slate clear? Oh, not enough coffee. So, yeah, we live in a world of endless possibilities. So, who are we to say exactly how things are? Maybe we just have to show up with spaciousness and something cool will happen. Maybe we just have to drop the labels of ourselves and everybody else. Right? Definitely seems like a practice that needs to be cultivated. In my head, I'm labeling that. It could take a while. But at the same point, it's just something that you do. You know, whether it's today and you do it all today with no issues, or, you know, it takes years or months, whatever. You know, we don't judge. We just keep showing up. Keep telling the universe we're ready for something different. Ocean.